Listen. Listen. I'm working 40 hours, 6 long days, and I'm highly embarrassed every time I get my pay. And they're working everybody, Lord, they're working poor folks to death. And when you pay your rent and your car note, you ain't got a damn thing left. Ain't that a bitch? Yes, it is. Somebody doing something slick. Yeah, they are. It's got me wondering which is which. Might as well go uptown and dig a ditch. Ain't that a bitch? Yes, it is. Now, ain't that a bitch? Let me tell you about my qualifications. I program computers. I know accounting and psychology. I took a course in business, and I can speak a little Japanese. Son, got to work 2 years to get 1 week off with pay. And when I'm on my job, I better watch every word I say. Ain't that a bitch? Boy, somebody doing something slick downtown. It's got me wondering which is which. Might as well go uptown and dig a ditch. Ain't that a bitch? Way too cold. Ain't that a bitch? Make me wanna holler. Lord have mercy to see.
Can't get ahead, no, not try. Please
help me to see you, man. Lord, I want to play the game. Come here, guitar. Somebody doing something slick. Now listen to this. Stop at the supermarket to get myself something to eat. And when I look at the prices, they knocked me off of my feet. I was in the bologna section, and I had to take myself a close look. Now, our beauty bar couldn't have made these prices with a sky hook. Ain't that a bitch? Yes, it is. Somebody doing something slick. Yeah, they are. It's got me wondering which is which. Might as well go outside and dig a ditch. Ain't that a bitch? So ain't that a bitch? Oh. Ain't that a show you something slick going on. Show you something slick. Show you something slick going on.
WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
Somebody show us slick.
Show you something slick going on. Show you something slick. Show you something slick this morning. Show me something slick. Show you something slick this morning. Show you something slick. Coffee was a witness this morning. Show you something slick. Oh,
Come back.
come back, please.
Come back. Come back. Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show this morning. It is Michelle Bryant. You're listening to Say Something Real here at WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Yes, that special individual, none other than, what's your name, bruh?
Ricky Ticky Tavi.
That is not his name. Keon Jackson Malone.
Feasting on all cobra, snakes, slithers, sleuths.
In all of his energy and foolishness this
Yeah.
morning, you just gotta just be thrilled.
That beet juice.
As I am struggling with sleep right now.
Is that what the problem was? Carvey, it's so good to have a witness in the morning.
Don't drag young
a
Carvey
lot of
into
these,
this.
lot of they Carvey, a lot of
Don't.
they talk real slick one-on-one and pass all kind of rumors.
First of all, let's be clear.
Did you not come in here?
I talk slick one-on-one and in a group.
I know. Yeah,
and in a crowd.
Yeah, but you gotta have a witness. Wait a minute, hold on. Watch your finger. Hold on.
You see?
What's up with the stroke hand?
You see?
I got your seat. You can play if you want to.
Hey, bruh. This ain't that day.
It is for me.
This ain't that day.
You gotta get some extra coffee.
You better back up.
I'm stutter fantabulous this morning.
That's not my issue.
It's not an issue
That's
at
not
all.
my issue.
They keep
Good morning, family. I'm sorry you have to be exposed to the internal.
Turn the radio up.
The internal nonsense that goes on between me and this dude.
She was over here fussing about the Montgomery ball this morning.
Yeah.
Chair right behind her. Mad she can't find her phone. It was on her ear.
No, my phone literally is at home. I left my phone.
Michelle.
Taking a call from Tyrone Dumas. I left my phone at home.
Oh, brother Tyrone.
I left my phone at home. On the counter.
On the counter.
As I was getting my coffee.
As you brought the coffee, left the phone.
I did. All right, family.
Ooh,
let's see. So we got to figure. Well, and I saw it was like a couple other
about
people
3 of
on.
them. You know what it was? It was that song. Everybody
was
feel
it?
That way this morning.
No.
I played that especially for you.
Did you?
You came in here hot and frustrated.
Where
is the air? I cannot breathe.
Hey, you too loud.
I know. That's what I
feel like
saying.
I got a hangover. You too loud.
You funny.
Hey, bro. It's too loud. It's too loud this morning. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Yes. Good morning, Miss Michelle Bryant.
What up, sir? How you doing this morning, JT?
I'm doing quite well. And how about you?
Look, I'm sleepy.
Don't get us started. She's really on one this morning.
I'm struggling this morning. What's going on?
Okay. Hey, LGD Keon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You have to run to McDonald's to get Michelle some coffee, man.
She got some coffee. It's not working. She needs more than coffee. Uppers, maybe?
Yeah, I hear you. Make sure you put some brandy in it, too.
That's not going to... Oh, yeah, that's what she needs. Bring it on through, JT.
Yes.
Bring it on.
I'll be there in a hot minute.
Yeah.
Anyway, Michelle.
Yes, sir.
I just want to catch you before you start the itinerary this morning. I just want to give my deeply heartfelt condolences and respect to the Black Army soldiers that was killed. I believe it was in Iran, somewhere in Iran, by that drone that they thought was an American drone or something like that early in the morning while they were sleeping. So I just wanted to call in and just mention that. I think I'm angry about President Joe, even though I would vote for him again, but I am upset with him for jumping head first into Israel and backing them up without taking time out to figure things out first. And now because of that, the war has extended to other countries in the Middle East, and they're going after our soldiers big time. And it's not letting up. It seems like it's going to get worse. So I think President Joe Biden better try to help and try to figure something else out because, again, by him jumping head first into backing up Israel right away like that, it has got way out of hand. And again, my sorrow go out to the black veterans. The black soldiers that lost their lives over there, just doing their job. And I'm still trying to figure out, because it's kind of unusual for black soldiers, all three to die all at once like that, because it's usually kind of mixed. So I don't know if it might be my bias, but I just think that the military, the army, seem like they're putting our black soldiers in the worst situations and stationing them in the worst spots. That's just my personal opinion, because it's really unusual for 3 black soldiers to die like that instead of, they being mixed like a black or maybe a white or maybe a Latino or something like that. But I'm just saying that's the way Maybe I'm old fashioned, but that's how it used to be back in the days when I was in the military. But that was just one of my opinions.
All
But
right.
but again, I just wanted to mention that this morning before you got started. And everybody try to have a good day.
All right, thank you, JT. Yeah, it actually was on tap for me to talk about this morning. So, for folks that are not fully abreast of what JT is referring to, and it caught my attention when I saw the images of the three, and these were actually reservists that were killed over in Jordan. But they are three service members, all whom happen to be African American, and they were young. One brother was, he was 46. He was the sergeant. William Jerome Rivers, 46 years old. He was from Carrollton, Georgia. This whole unit was from Georgia. So when you think about like the odds of three black soldiers being together, you talking about coming out of Georgia, and certain areas of Georgia, yeah, you gonna have a heavily black unit possible. So that was one of the reasons why, I would didn't go to conspiracy, but I certainly noted, because you don't see it, to JT's point, you don't see it like that often. But Specialist Kennedy Landon Sanders, 24 years old, Waycross, he was from Waycross, Georgia, and Specialist Brianna Alexandria Moffitt, 23 years old, just babies, from Savannah, Georgia, as well. They were all reservists assigned to the 718th Engineer Company in Fort Moore, Georgia. And so now we are at a point, though, where there have been at least 40 members of the military that have been wounded in attacks. Um, and people are, paying attention. They were just talking about, they didn't know if like phone calls had happened to the families yet of these soldiers. But this attack in Jordan, this is the first deadly attack that U.S. forces, because we've had injuries, but this is the first attack where anyone has died in the Middle East since the Israel-Hamas drama broke out. And what exactly happened is JT mentioned a drone. So the aerial drone struck a container housing units at what they said is called Tower 22, which is a remote base in northeast Jordan near the Syrian border, early Sunday morning. Tower 22 supports the Al Tanif garrison in southeastern Syria, where the U.S. Special Operations have long operated in tandem with other countries combating Islamic militants, basically. About 350 U.S. Army and Air Force personnel are on this base. So they said that an American drone, was coming back into the area, and a drone from Iran followed that drone back into this space. They believe, again, the Islamic resistance in Iraq is behind the attack. But this is a coalition of militias backed by Iran. That's why Iran is being, targeted and looked at in response to how we deal with this, because they're financing a lot of what we see going on with the Islamic resistance. So it was one of those things in which it caught people off guard, but this Islamic resistance has actually attacked a total of 4 military bases on Sunday. That day when those 3 African American soldiers were killed, they had attacked 4 bases. 3 of the bases are in Syria, and the other one was on the Syrian-Jordan border, one belonging to Israel as well. So, this is a situation in which now Biden is deciding, let me just say this. He's already decided there's going to be obviously a response. There's going to be a stepped up response. Now people are trying to figure out how far do we go, because the goal has been to avoid a war. The goal has been to say, look, we just got out of a 20-year war and, lost countless lives. And at the end of it, people were left standing there going, and what was accomplished as we come out of this? There is trepidation on the part of a lot of people about getting into a full-scale war. But you do have, the people who have not fought in nothing, always ginning up, no, let's go, full on, headstrong, let's tear it up, let's go. And it's just like, you quick to say let's go when it's not you going. When it's not your child, when it's not your family member, you quick to say let's go. And so what people are trying to do is be smart about how they deal with this whole thing. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, that's a brother who has had his own share of, drama in the last several weeks because of his prostate cancer diagnosis, in which he had not disclosed it to the president. He actually had, been rushed to the emergency room after a complication with the surgery. And in doing so, he informed like one of his assistants, but the president was not notified. I think they said something for like 3 days when he did the initial surgery. And so, one of the things I was talking to somebody is like, well, you're not going to go in on Lloyd Austin. I'm like, look, when you've not been in certain roles before and you used to conducting your life a certain way, and then you're talking about a man who has now been told that he has prostate cancer, I said, it may not always be your first mindset. Let me immediately contact the president and let him know about my personal medical health situation. I don't know why Secretary Austin did not make that immediate call. But I tell people all the time, it is a difference when you work for the government in like some of the positions that people work in versus being in the military. It's a difference. It is a difference. And you have to get acclimated to all of the different expectations that, when you start to realize your life is not your own, your business is not your business. That was one of the first things when I was talking about, to yesterday, State Representative Lakeisha Myers. And I was talking about pay attention to how they get ready to come for this sister, because it's certain powers that be in this community that don't want to see her move into that seat that is currently vacant right now, that was left vacant after Governor Evers appointed Senator Lena Taylor to be a municipal circuit court judge. I mean, a Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge. And don't want her for no other reason than that they can't control her. That's the only reason, because you can't deny she's smart. You can't deny she's experienced. You can't deny she's prepared. You can't deny none of that. The only thing you can say why you don't want her is because I can't control her. It's not that she's even unlikable. She's fine. She won't necessarily toe the company line. And so people start talking about, oh, I want her personnel records from her last job. I want to know this. I want to know that. And that's why a lot of people don't run for office. They don't deal with the government. They don't want an appointment. Because you got these people sitting on the outside that like to stir the pot, that keep up nonsense. Well, we need to know every detail of your life, Secretary Austin. We need to know. We need to know every detail of your life, and talk about it and scrutinize it and rake it over the coals, because the taxpayers is getting ready to put you potentially in an underpaid position. So many people that are good people walk away from serving the government, serving the country, because I don't have time for that. You're not getting ready to just rummage all through my life and my family member's life and got my kids out here on blast. My daddy, my brother. So people like, I'm good, fam. Y'all can have it. Y'all don't pay enough anyway. I'm good. So I got to take a break, but we'll go, to some other issues. But yeah, JT, that was definitely on the on the top of my mind this morning. So I moved it to the forefront because it is important. And just like you said, much respect for these soldiers, and condolences to the people that loved and supported them. All right, family, I'll be right back.
445-2558 today for a free quote. Home, auto, renters, condo, and more. Sydney, Nancy, and Lyndon can't wait to meet you.
Subject to terms and conditions and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois. Hello, Milwaukee. This is Mr. Debo, your host of Pillow Talk. If you listen to the show, you know I'm always suggesting things you should do
W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
The price of the meat higher than the dope in the street. Isn't it a wonder for those with nothing to eat? Some's got it made, but still seems so afraid. There's no love for his brother, no plans for another. Future shock, that's what's going on. Future shock.
Now, back to Say Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant, on 860 WNOV.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. A couple of things. So yesterday we were down in Judge Carl Ashley's chambers for the swearing-in ceremony of State Senator Lena Taylor, who is now Judge Taylor. The room was full, and it was a really cool and interesting thing to see. Seeing her son, who was in her arms literally when she first got elected in 2003, to see this full circle moment for her son and her brothers and her dad. You know, it was pretty cool. The community came out. People who were so funny, it was like, I'm coming. I didn't need an invitation. I'm coming. So there were a number of people on hand to see her it was very brief, 15 minutes in and out. It is posted on my Facebook page for people that want to see it. Just go to Michelle Bryant's Facebook, and you can see the swearing in. But it was just a interesting moment, and you realize, like what it takes for people to ascend and get in certain positions and have these opportunities. So after that, I had a bunch I had to do. So they went and did a little celebratory dinner and hung out. And, I was back at the house because, got to take care of a bunch of stuff. And while I was sitting there, I had the news playing in the background. I think it was Joy Reid's show that was on. And there was a story that Joy Reid had done on her segment, or a segment on her show that I had been following in the news anyway. And I'm telling you, I just had this like unbelievable moment of frustration and anger and concern. And then as I prepare to watch on February 1st, this whole piece on Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and, the civil rights movement and what this whole thing was like, the drama that's going on right now with these airplanes that have had safety issues. And you have white conservatives in many cases using this as an opportunity to talk about the qualifications, the skill sets, the mental capacity of African Americans in particular, brown people in general, to be pilots. And Charlie Kirk, who is one of the most ignorant white men to ever breathe air, who is with Turning Point USA, he said in one of his comments, because everybody else has kind of danced around it, skirted around it, but race was always in the background about what's going on with these planes. Not talking about the fact that these are mechanical issues that manufacturers have had to call a pause to go back and review safety because bolts were missing that should have been on some of these planes, on some of these doors. There were line issues where the assembly was jacked up. And so certain things didn't happen that have caused a number of problems on these planes. Thank God no one has died yet. But there have been some crashes that people are like, we're not sure exactly, what happened, and try to figure out, was it pilot error? Was it something with the plane? But we know that they have been able to document a number of mechanical issues system issues, assembly issues with some of these planes. So Charlie Kirk decides he gonna say the quiet part out loud while everybody else is tiptoeing around it, hitting up to it, walking up to it. Are African Americans qualified to be airline pilots? Charlie Kirk comes out a few days ago and he just says it. Quote, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Excuse me. So then on Joy's show, she cuts to, I said Charlie Kirk is probably the most ignorant white man to breathe air. Candace Owens got to be the stupidest black woman to breathe air. She right there on par with definitely one of the most ignorant black women to breathe air. Candace Owens follows up Charlie Kirk's foolishness by basically inferring that she wouldn't be comfortable with a black pilot. And for folks that don't know, Candace Owens behind is black. But she wouldn't be comfortable with the black pilot, and she wouldn't be comfortable with a female pilot. So this black woman goes on national television to say basically not really comfortable with black pilots, definitely not comfortable with the female pilot. Where do they find these people? Where do they find them? But the thing that got me as I listened to Joy, who in all of her completely justified disgust and frustration, she tried to make light of it in some cases, because what do people say? You laugh to keep from crying. But, you know, we have come a long way as Black folks in terms of people questioning our academic acumen, our IQ, our intellectual capacity. We've had our brains studied like lab rats because people, in many cases, who were hell-bent on proving that we were inferior in some way, that our brains didn't quite function like white people. And you think about the years that Black people endured this level of nonsense. At the same time, though, producing and inventing and making some of the coldest things that have ever been made in history here in America and around the world. And I just sat there and I had to stop working and I looked up, and just this overwhelming sense of frustration and anger and sadness. Just put all the emotions in the bag you can and mix it up. And then put a big fat knot in the bottom of your stomach. And you just think about what my mother used to say about going on these jobs and people looking at, you know, Black women like they couldn't be nurses and RNs. I was talking to some people the other day, it might be key, in which I was talking about, I was watching this piece on, I think it was on Miles Davis. Nope. Who was it on? It wasn't Miles Davis. It was Berry Gordy. And Berry Gordy left the U.S. for a while. Berry Gordy left the U.S. for a while because he wanted to be able to compose music, you know, symphonies, orchestras, whatever. But there was some basically either unwritten rule or written rule that a lot of these people would not let Black people write the musical compositions for the string section of an orchestra. And I was like, wait a minute, what? Because I've never heard this before in my life. But that no, Black people, you are not mentally equipped to write the musical scores or parts for the string section. Strings, you know what we're talking about, violins, the whole nine. You couldn't write for the string section. And I just thought, like, what kind of nonsense is this? To be Black in this country and have doors closed in your face for no other reason than the color of your skin. and somebody else's ignorance about your capabilities, who you are, what you can do. To have people pass judgment, make life-changing decisions about what you'll get access to, what you'll be afforded the opportunity to do. And that in 2024, my grandson comes into a world and we still on this nonsense. And you got people who feel comfortable on their platforms openly saying this again. And you got to think, like, a few years ago, would we have seen this? 8 years ago, 10 years ago, would we have seen this? The license that people, the agency that people have now, that they feel that we could, because you was thinking it all along. This is not new. These are not new thoughts. But you were tempered in how you did this in public because there was public scrutiny for you saying such ignorant and racist and awful things. You didn't want to be that dude. You didn't want to be that woman. You know, you didn't want to be what was Lakeisha's Bill, Barbecue Becky. You didn't want to be that person. But now, oh, I'm good. I'm comfortable being that person. I don't mind you knowing that this is how I feel. And again, as Black folks push Teslas, and you got Elon Musk basically co-signing on this. So then you got to think about, like, at his company. So do Black engineers work at your company? Do Black scientists work with you? Because we all rocking your vehicle. Everybody want to buy your car. But how is it that you treat Black people? How are we seen? And the thing that's so ridiculous is, by now, with everything we've accomplished, you still got people. Somebody was talking about Charlie Kirk got a associate's degree from a tech college. That's what you got. You talk about the amount of level of education that these pilots have, and a number of these African Americans have, but the tech college dude with the 2-year degree is questioning the intelligence of everybody else. And as we talk about going to the polls and getting ready to elect people in November and what that's going to look like, you just got to come back again and ask the question, like, y'all, are we paying attention? And if you're paying attention, what are you going to do about it? There is a series coming on Sunday. I mean, a special coming on Sunday. And it's about Black men in particular. And their whole, take on the 2024 election and whether or not, they believe that these parties have anything to offer them, if they're going to participate, if they do participate, who they're going to support. I have had many moments when, I have openly pleaded with brothers, privately pleaded with brothers, like, in your frustration with these systems, please do not put us in a situation that's crazy. And I'm sorry. Support for a man like Trump and the many people that support him is helping to continue this situation. I listened as I drove in this morning to people talking about the credible threats, assassination attempts on Fonnie Willis's life in Georgia. But I got Black men want to talk to me about whether or not she had an affair with somebody. But I didn't see that same level of interest as this girl has put her life on the line trying to do what's right in prosecuting Donald Trump for trying to steal Black votes in Fulton County. I had to have an argument with a family member about this. Like, don't tell me about the tax. And I'm like, y'all kill me. Because this sounds like other folks. She used taxpayer money to pay her man. Number one, this dude is a lawyer. And he is highly qualified. And he makes the same money as everybody else makes, whether she was dating him or not. But where's that same level of energy on all the reports about them trying to kill his sister? I don't hear that. You hollering about some taxpayer money that don't ever come to your neighborhood for economic development, for improvement and growth. You hollering about that. Some of you, which don't even pay no damn taxes other than what you get taxed on when you make a retail purchase, don't own nothing. You ain't contributing in that way. But nothing said about people trying to take this girl's life. And that one threat was so credible that they have to send out a body double in a Kevlar vest to be able to get Fonnie Willis out the back of the building the night after she announced the indictment. Like, I'm just struggling right now. Because you look at people sometimes like, this ain't no game, y'all. This is not a game. And when we can talk about, oh, I didn't get this or I didn't get that, and I'm disappointed in this, I need you to do the totality of the picture of what's at stake. But this difference that we see where Charlie Kirk feels comfortable saying the ignorant part out loud, and you have more and more people who feel comfortable questioning the intelligence of Black people, figuring out ways to legally discriminate us, everything that they're doing with diversity, equity, and inclusion. And now we're trying to figure out how to stop Black kids from being able to get dollars set aside in terms of education. When you got all of those things in the mix, we just don't have no time. We don't have no time for dumb stuff. We just don't. And let me swing back around, because I'm gonna give you an example of what I mean. And I'm gonna make somebody mad this morning. I had the conversation yesterday about Fred Kessler. And I understand that after I got off the air, there was a call in to Keith's show by a listener who wanted to go ahead and espouse, what was great about Fred Kessler and redistricting and, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. I didn't hear it, but that was the gist of what I heard. I was told. And this was my thing when I got done listening to them. I said, so, this is the best analogy I got, or one of the analogies I got for you. It's like saying somebody broke into the church and stole the church's money. But then they went and decided to do charitable work themselves. And so people are like, but they bought food for the homeless. For the hungry. They gave some people some money for housing, but they stole the money in the first place. So you want me to celebrate their philanthropy with stolen money? And so to the caller who called in to like, oh, but Fred Kessler did redistricting work and da. First of all, he wasn't the only person doing the work. That's number one. But number two, don't ask me to overlook the initial, act to get to the benevolence of, oh, and while I'm here, I'm going to do redistricting. You can't steal from me and then use my money to do good, and then I'm supposed to be okay with you. That's not how this go. And the fact that people are not able to see the initial issue, which was we were supposed to have Black representation. We needed increased Black representation. It matters. Just like in the state of Alabama, 25% of the state is Black. You got one elected official in Congress or in these houses where you should be more better represented. So I'm supposed to look past the fact that you knowingly moved your behind into a Black community so that you could try to get that seat, knowing why that seat was created. I'm supposed to look past that, because once you got the seat, and Dr. Renee Settle Robinson was the person that was running for that seat at the time. Once you get the seat, Oh, you did some great things. That's not the point. And that's why I just want to shake brothers like y'all. Stop it. That's not the point. The point is what you did to get the seat. That's the point. The point is who the seat was intended for. That's the point. What did James Brown say? Just open the door. I can get it myself. I don't need you to represent me. I can represent my community. I don't need Mr. Charlie to be my voice in Madison. That's the point. And as soon as he lost, the beloved community got kicked to the curb. That's the point. Don't steal my money and go feed the homeless and think I'm going to pat you on your back. That's not how this go. And when we can't see that, we stay in this condition. When we don't understand those things, we stay in this condition. All right. Yes, sir. You want to say something?
I want to add some kindling to your fire.
You go right ahead.
WTH, what the hell? Can somebody please caption this?
So here is a black man with locks. Mm-hmm. I can put it up here. You got it?
Yeah.
All right, so we are getting a picture. I just love this technique. Come on, Carvey, with your bad self. So this is a brother with locks who is bare-chested, who has a tat.
How dark? Mocha black.
He good in chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate, not a mixed one.
And he has a picture of a swastika tattooed on his chest.
A thick swastika.
You don't see that? That's why we want you to see it. Let me see.
He said, let him zoom in.
Wait, let me see. There you go. Wait, there you go. Can you see it now? Were you able to pick it up? So anybody that's looking at us on, what is it, WNOV 860 on Facebook, you can see what I'm showing and what I'm holding up.
Or if you want to go to Core DJ Vale's Facebook page, because he's the one like, please caption this.
Okay. So, you just had this moment. And people like, Michelle, don't beat up on people. Don't do this. But I'm like, and it's plenty of brothers that get it. That's not what I'm saying. But for the twos and fews that don't, man, y'all hurting us, man. Sisters like Candace Owens, you hurting us, man. You literally want to set women back to the 18th century. I don't did you never hear of Amelia Earhart, or I forgot the name of the sister that was called that flying too? Did you what are you talking about, you ignorant woman? I got black kids in Texas who have this boy been out of school since August. It is January, about to be February tomorrow, because these white folks won't let him come to school because he got locks in his hair and he won't cut them off. Because the superintendent in the district said, this is the price you basically pay to be a good American citizen and to conform. This don't have nothing to do with academic ability, with my doing my work, doing anything that I need to graduate from high school, which is also ridiculous because in the real world, I can wear locks wherever I want to. So what are you doing to this child in Texas, who is now, this case is getting ready to go to the Supreme Court? Because Texas is saying we can dictate that this boy, if you're going to have locks, they cannot be but a certain length. And this child is like, my hair is braided up. It in no way touches my shoulders. It does not hang past my ears. There's nothing going on with my hair that needs to be a violation of this school policy. This boy has been in an in-school suspension or out of the classroom since August, y'all. It is more important to these ignorant people in Texas to mess with this child about his hair than it is to educate him. It's more important to do that. So when I got like somebody like got mad at me the other day because they was talking about the Super Bowl and Usher and whoever's the halftime show and blah blah blah, and I was just sitting there because I ain't had nothing to say, and they was like, "Oh, you still on that? You ain't?
Never was.
Oh, you still on that? You ain't?" Until we care passionately, ferociously about our issues, nobody else will. If I don't raise hell about our mistreatment, why would I expect anybody else to? Until you're willing to sacrifice for your own causes, why would anybody else?
Bessie Coleman.
Thank you so much.
We don't know where Amelia Earhart is.
Right.
Bessie Coleman. Yeah,
right. Thank you. I can't believe I couldn't think of her name at the moment. Tell her I said thank you. But y'all, you can't shake your behind enough at a halftime show, and I don't care what Mahomes do and nobody else do, when you can tell me how I got different algorithms for what I play, black players injured in the game, how it's still hard as heck. It's a big deal when you see an all-black ref squad in 2024. It's still a big deal. Like all of the different areas we get discriminated against in the game of football. And then the brother can be ran out of the game because he spoke up for us. No. What?
I'll let you read it.
All right, I got to take a break. Michelle Bryant, WNOV. Callers, I see y'all. I'll be right there. Be right back, y'all. Daily Beast literally just dropped today. No, my bad. It dropped on the 24th. Snoop Dogg now has nothing but love for respect for Trump. In a stark departure from his vocal criticism of the former president, rapper Snoop Dogg now says he has, quote, nothing but love and respect for Donald Trump. In an interview with The Times, Snoop said, quote, Donald Trump, he ain't done nothing wrong to me. He has only done great things for me. End quote. He cited Trump's 2021 pardoning of Michael Harris, a co-founder of Snoop's first label, Death Row Records, who has been locked up for years. The comments mark a sharp change in attitude for Snoop, who in 2017 music video, mimed shooting a clown dressed in the former president's likeness. And in the satirical song, Make America Crip Again, Snoop said, blank that, MAGA blank. As late as 2020, he was seen calling Trump a blanking weirdo. When asked by The Times, the rapper would not comment on who he would vote for if it came to a Trump-Biden rematch this year. Thanks for giving me that.
Thank you,
piece.
Big Mo.
You know,
reporter.
That's and somebody be like, well, that's a rapper. No. These are brothers. This is a businessman. This is somebody who is influential. The same way conservatives are scared to death with this whole Taylor Swift, that little boy she go with, and the millions of people that follow her when she starts talking about voting. Like, long as she just a cute little blonde chick on the sideline hanging on somebody's arm, I don't have no problem with you. But the minute she says, I just need people to register to go vote. Now, oh my God, it's a conspiracy. She's going to support Biden. She's going to get all her followers to support Biden. This is the same conversation with a Snoop and a Dre and an Usher. These are business people in our community. Snoop is somebody's grandfather. His daughter just got done being on talking about I don't know if that girl had a stroke or what she had. He is somebody that's a regular, responsible person in his community who has a huge degree and sphere of influence. Yes, Kate.
But to that same point, he's a businessman, he's a grandfather, he's all that. And there's what he was and what he came from and what means what to him. It don't all mean the same to everybody. And that's the part of what I tell people, to be cautious about how you thinking about people when you just thinking, dude is tripping and everybody is just a trip. Snoop came from, what did he say meant something to him? Who he pardoned,
right,
and what that was, because that's what his lifestyle was. He became a businessman under gangster gunfire. Murder Was the Case was a hit song that he had in the 90s.
Yeah, but even with that, this is a brother who still always knew right from wrong. No, he was raised by people who understood.
I'm not saying right.
He chose to do something different, but it wasn't like he didn't know.
No, I'm not saying right from wrong. I mean, the question was always, who are we? When they say we together, right. Who is we? Even when we think about Africa is a country, it's a continent, not a country.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Bigger than the United States. They show it small on the map, but they say it's the largest continent on the planet. So, just like we in Canada ain't we in South America. In Montana ain't we in Georgia. So people think differently and have different.
But my point still remains is that when we as voters go to when we as people think about voting, now when I say we, I mean the global, anybody, black, white, yellow, whatever. When we think about voting, there has to be a willingness to think about it globally, in terms of how does this impact most people, not just my individual personal cause and care about this issue. Mike Harris was my boy. He let my boy out. So we gonna let a racist back in the White House because he let your boy out? But it's people that have wrongfully been convicted. But the brothers from the Central Park 5, he still ain't got nothing for them. He still won't go back and admit that when you called for these brothers to be executed, you was 100% dead wrong. Yeah. But he let your boy out. So you good?
So let me ask you this then on that one. Because, when I was a child, I did as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. I'm sitting here listening to my uncle, 70 years old, telling me to go watch a Snoop movie that I'm not watching. Because, this is a granddaddy who's smoking weed and got his granddaughter age folks on videos, shaking their thing. So some things, I mean, you wouldn't expect dude to be a Trump fanatic. How they pop it in, what they put,
but
what
again,
they pumping.
as the article points out,
Mhm.
there's a well-documented history of not being a supporter.
Yeah.
And all of the things that made you a non-supporter, then your boy gets pardoned. Now I'm good.
Hey, check it out though. Good advice and bad example cause confusion. He may have not supported him verbally, but everything that Trump did, grabbing him by the peas and all that, he been doing all that rapping about that for 30 years.
But that's still
so he was supporting.
But because I still like
the way
the
of
stuff
life.
that I understand about Calvin Broadus is that just like Cube, Cube somebody daddy. I think he a grandfather now.
Still talking about,
but on Sesame Street, singing with the little kids.
We be clubbing.
Some of this stuff is persona now. It ain't legit about this still how I roll. This how I get down. I'm grimy.
But that
I'm
was
gritty.
how he got down.
And it may have been.
Right.
But again, there are other elements in play that have been in play for a long time. When you start talking about managing the kind of money these people have, the access that they have, he made sure that his kids went to college. Nobody wasn't hustling, wasn't nobody in the streets. His kids went to college.
Mine.
And so I'm just saying.
But your kids can be clubbing and get it in the street just like my album said.
My point remains is that, bruhs, y'all making me nervous, fam. Y'all making me nervous, fam.
Been making folks nervous.
When I started kicking it with the Klan, Tim Scott is an idiot. You on stage professing your love for somebody who will not even have a black cabinet member other than Ben Carson so that they could rob HUD blind under his watch because the neurosurgeon didn't know nothing about housing. But who else black was at Donald Trump's table? Nobody. Who else black was in the inner circle? Nobody. Like, this dude has told y'all he don't mess with y'all like that. But I'm going to leave my people to you. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Yes, quickly, Michelle. I would just like to revisit what you were saying earlier about the first black woman that was flying planes back in the 1930s, along with Amelia Earhart. Her name was, what was her name, Keon?
Bessie Coleman.
Bessie Coleman, I'm sorry. What was left out of the conversation was that when she was flying that plane back in the 1930s, kind of like competing with Amelia Earhart, the jealous white people found out a way to sabotage her plane. So when she went flying again, something went wrong with the plane engine, and she ended up crashing and killing herself. Now that's also in the history books, but they don't always mention that. But yeah, they got jealous of her flying because she's so good at it, the first black woman, that they sabotaged her plane and caused her death. So I just wanted to add that little bit real quickly, Michelle, but thank you so much for bringing that to our attention.
All right. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And if you've never watched, like, PBS has done an amazing documentary on Bessie Coleman. And I'm just trying to look and see. I'm looking for something real quick because I'm looking for this thing when she was in the Chicago Defender, returning to the U.S. after like a major flight somewhere around the world. But Coleman took her tragic last flight on April 30th, 1926 in Jacksonville, Florida, together with a young Texan mechanic called William Wills. Coleman was preparing for an air show that was to have taken place the following day. At 3,500 feet with Wills at the controls, an unsecured wrench somehow got caught in the control gears and the plane unexpectedly plummeted towards Earth. Coleman wasn't wearing a seatbelt, fell to her death. That is the version that most people have heard, but there certainly has been others that have talked about that they believe that the plane was intentionally sabotaged or, tampered with to be able to create the accident that ultimately would kill Bessie Coleman. About 10,000 mourners, this is 1926, 10,000 mourners paid their last respects to the first African-American woman aviator, filing past her coffin in Chicago's South Side. Her funeral was attended by several prominent African Americans, and it was presided over by Big Boss herself, Ida B. Wells, an outspoken advocate of equal rights. In an editorial in the Dallas Express, the South's oldest and at the time most widely distributed Black newspaper, remarked, quote, "There is reason to believe that the general public did not completely sense the size of her contributions to the achievements of this race as such. Coleman has not been forgotten in the decades since her death. For a number of years, starting in 1931, Black pilots from Chicago instituted an annual flyover of her grave. In 1977, a group of African American women pilots established the Bessie Coleman Aviators Club. And in 1992, a Chicago City Council resolution requested that the U.S. Postal Service issue a Bessie Coleman stamp. The resolution noted that, quote, "Bessie Coleman continues to inspire untold thousands, even millions of young persons with her sense of adventure, her positive attitude, and her determination to succeed." But you got Charlie Kirk questioning whether or not Black pilots, and a Black woman in Candace Owen questioning whether or not women should be flying planes. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hello.
Yes, hello.
We go through this over and over and over and over again about the United States, the government, the country that we live in. They have killed all our leaders, and we go over this, and over this again. Omar, that lady Omar, who's Somalian, even though she's over here, she gave a speech. I got to commend that lady because she said Somalia first, Muslim second. We need to stop playing games. If you're in Chicago, you don't know what's going on when you're in grammar school. When you get in high school, you know what's what. You know who's for who. We never speak about us. We always talk about the Mexicans. We always talk about everybody else, but we never say specifically about us. We have doctors, lawyers, Indians, and chiefs, and we still in the same position that we are in. We're always against each other. Black is always against each other. We must wake up as a people. One thing I found out in the service, if you a buffoon, if you goofy, they don't care about you. But if you come to formation on time, ain't giggling, ain't hostile, and you like gathering brothers around you that got the same aura as you, like we already up in this combat. So you know what? We already thinking about war. We going to war for the white man. So we wake up and go like, let's go to war for the black man. It's some dudes out there like that. But we don't go nowhere because we got so many people against us. You get 7 black dudes in the service sitting around at a table talking, ain't talking loud. White folks looking at you. What they do? They go send a nigga to go break it up. You can get 7 white boys sitting in the circle doing the same damn thing, plotting. You don't have nobody to break that up. We as black folks gotta wake up. We different. We is different, bro. We is different. I don't know what y'all done came from or where you, man, we did not enslave them. They enslaved us. We is totally different. And we let them talk to us any and every way. They got us fighting, man. Men against women, women, they ain't fighting like that.
All right, bro.
I'm sorry.
Hold
on. I just got to say this. Let's try to instead of talking about each other, let's just try to unite. Everybody ain't perfect. Let's just try to get along as Black folks and quit talking about everybody else.
Thank you. Appreciate the call. I got another caller, but I'm gonna take a break first. Caller, if you can hang through the break, I will get you next up. And I'll tell you what the brother was referencing when he was talking about Ilhan Omar's comments that have, caused some people to once again come after her. She made a speech in which she said Somalians first, Muslims second. Take a second and kind of just bring everybody up to speed on that when I get back from the break. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Be right back, y'all. So for folks that are calling in for the contest, we do have the individuals that won the entries into the, what's the name of that contest?
The Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day giveaway.
Yeah.
So yeah, so just in case, look, I saw somebody hang up. So just in case,
Right.
that's why you calling. We did get our entrance.
You know what? I didn't notice this. I know you on your story. I didn't realize that this text was sent earlier when I showed you that picture.
What?
So somebody texted and said
The picture of the brother with the swastika on his shirt.
They said, but do you know the origin of the swastika and how it began with us? Everything begins with us and is usually stolen and made negative with other cultures. We got to take our stuff back. So I don't know. I was just hoping they tied him down and put it on him. Like,
so
I was hoping he didn't just wear it.
So what this said is that one site that I'm on, scholars generally agree it originated in India.
Okay.
With the emergence of the Sanskrit language came the term swastika, a combination of su or good and asti, to be, which means to be, in other words, well-being. And they said that the swastika was widely used as a Native American symbol at one time, I guess, as well. But the Holocaust Encyclopedia says the swastika is an ancient symbol that was in use in many different cultures for at least 5,000 years before Adolf Hitler made it the centerpiece of the Nazi flag. So it says that the swastika was long used as a symbol of well-being in ancient societies, including those in India, China, Africa, Native America, and Europe. Adolf Hitler designed the Nazi flag in 1920. He combined the swastika with the three colors of the German imperial flag, red, black, and white. Nazi symbols, including the swastika flag, are banned in the number of countries today. But yeah, so while yes, there is tons of evidence that this thing was associated with other races, other ethnicities, other parts of the world, dating back in some cases, some of the stuff I've seen has said as far back as 7,000 years ago, a sacred symbol in Hinduism, Buddhism. Some of these isms I'm not familiar with. Jainism, Jainism. If Keith was here, he could probably tell me. Odinism, a common sight on temples or houses in India or Indonesia. Swastikas have an ancient history in Europe, appearing on artifacts from pre-Christian European cultures. So this is my thing. And maybe this brother was aware of that. But was this brother aware of that? And even understanding the historical reference, when you look at how it's been used today, I appreciate we got to be smart. We got to understand the origin of certain things. But is this just some drama I need? Because your purpose for having the swastika on your chest is what? I don't know. He might be totally conscious, totally aware of everything. But today, because that symbol is connected to this foolishness that Adolf Hitler perpetrated in terms of, trying to annihilate a whole group of people, is it really? I mean, I don't know. Now, if it's all about education, then you need to also say, I'm trying to educate y'all. But if I'm just out here flashing and there's no subtext and people don't know exactly what's going on, now it look crazy. But I'm glad to the person who sent the information to say, understand the history of the swastika. I appreciate that. And we all need to know that and understand that. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. It's scary that a person that came from where she came from has the ideas that she has.
Wait, what?
I said it's crazy that people that come from another country that gets over here and they complain about what they don't want blacks to be doing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary, And if you don't think you black, go to deep Mississippi and hang out with the Ku Klux Klan and see what they'll do to you. That's all I got to say.
All right. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. There is one thing, I said I was going to quickly just kind of bring people into the fold on the caller who had talked about Ilhan Omar, who is a congressional member from Minnesota. She is in the House of Representatives, Democrat from Minnesota. So she was giving a speech not too long ago. There was some footage released of it on social media. In the speech, she says, and this is the way the interpretation of someone who transcribed the speech or whatever. And she said, Somalians first, Muslims second. Her comments came during an address featuring Somalian leaders at a hotel in Minnesota. Speaking in Somali, the representative did not mention her allegiance to the United States. So first of all, I got to say it. I got to say my allegiance to the United States. I got to say it, particularly being a person of color. I got to say it, given all the challenges, the George Floyd's right in her own backyard. I got to profess my allegiance. Why is that necessary? I do everything right. I cared enough about this country to want to be a part of the government that, is in place. I don't break laws. I respect what I'm supposed to, but you're just not happy unless I profess my allegiance. So I can't have an allegiance to people who look like me. Can't have that allegiance. I got to have an allegiance to the country that has the national anthem that talks about maintaining the institution of slavery at any cost, including death. Full circle moment, my Colin Kaepernick reference in the first part of the show. See, that's the part that people either don't want to understand, too special to understand, whatever it is. You get upset with people because they don't do what you want them to do. But again, the national anthem of this country has a verse that speaks to maintaining the institution of slavery at any cost. But you want me to stand there and listen as a Black woman, Black person, and not be slightly offended. Not really gonna sing that song. Not really with you. Conveniently, that verse is never sung. They don't, we don't do it and lift every voice and sing. We sing the first verse. We usually be done with it. We don't sing all them other verses and lift every voice and sing. So that, that's just how people do. Unless you go to a HBCU where you're going to sing all of the verses. But their gripe was, number one, she did not mention her allegiance to the U.S. This wasn't a speech to the U.S. This was a speech to fellow Somalians. She went on to promise the audience she would be working, quote, from inside the U.S. system to protect them and their lands. She went on and said, for as long as I'm in Congress, Somalia will never be in danger. Its waters will not be stolen by Ethiopia or others. The U.S. would not dare support anyone against Somalia to steal our land or oceans. Sleep in comfort knowing I'm here to protect the interests of Somalia from inside the U.S. system. And so people get upset. Oh, she needs to be censored. What she said is out of order and blah, blah, blah. But this is the thing. Jewish people do it all the time. We have American legislators that pledge their undying support for Israel. Their undying support. And use all of the powers that they have to protect the country that's not the U.S., to protect people that are not U.S. citizens. Don't nobody say nothing. All the declarations of, oh my God, Israel, and how dare you? And I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, if you can do that for Israel, why can't she say something for Somalia? The hypocrisy in it all. And so that's what the brother was referencing. Somalians first, Muslims second, because everybody that's Somalian is not a Muslim. So before I get to the religious aspect of this all, and she said that the translator took her stuff out of context. I don't speak Somali, so I don't know exactly what she said, but she said they took it out of context. You don't get the full grasp of what I was saying. So whoever like ran back and released this and said this, at least know how to translate correctly. That's her response. But whatever she said, how come other people can go hard in the paint for Israel, but you can't go hard in the paint for Somalia, for Haiti, for any place else? It's something wrong when you advocate for the people that you're connected to, that you love, that you care about, that you have family members. It's that level of hypocrisy that is maddening for me. But okay. Since I'm on this vein and I have already, abandoned my show to this whole conversation about race, justice, and equity this morning, let me just keep the train rolling. The group that went after race conscious admissions in higher education, we said it, but we were not unique. This was not rocket science, that there was more to come. And we talked about how it was going to show up in workplaces, how there was a push that anything that was done with the intent of acknowledging that there have been past injustices when it comes to African Americans, specifically in this country, other groups as well. But for the purposes of my discussion right now, specifically, there has been no reparations for real. There have been indirect small efforts to say, we know we discriminated in higher education. We know we made it at one point illegal for Black people to even learn how to read. So we know that there are institutions like a Harvard who actually use enslaved people as collateral for loans because they was property. We know that some of these crazy things have happened. So while we can't give y'all reparations, what we will do is say on admissions, we are looking at the fact that you've systematically been kept out. So we're going to figure out a way to systematically bring you in. We're going to take affirmative steps to correct some of the wrongs of the past. And of course, people, oh no, you can't do that. You can't, because I might be harmed. Yes, you've harmed them in the past and there has been no redress and you've not made it right, but you can't harm me. No. Yes, I could have competed for 98 seats out of 100 and those 2 that you set aside for Black people, but I couldn't compete against the other 98. So I want one of those 2. But you had 98 seats to compete against. They put 2 over here aside for Black folks. I wasn't good enough to get the 98, but I'm good enough to, possibly be 99. There can't be race conscious efforts to correct the wrongs of the past, but nobody has paid Black people for enslavement in a way that is equitable or fair. Hasn't been done. Oh yeah, that happened. My bad. Move on. That's what we being told. The efforts to correct slavery and disparate treatment has only been around for about 50, 60 years.
They actually said my bad?
No, there's been no official
apology. No, they're just like, yeah, it happened. Okay.
Yeah.
Move on.
You know what? Your brilliance.
I
bow down.
Hey.
Thank you for the correction. Hey. I bow down and savor it because that ain't gonna happen often. But I'm bowing down.
Glad. You're tight.
I'm bowing down right now. Mm-hmm. So this group, they are now back at it again because remember in the Supreme Court case that gutted affirmative action, there was an exception. There was a group left out. They didn't come for. And not this group, the Supreme Court. The military. The military was exempted. Military academic institutions like West Point was exempted from the ruling that barred race conscious decisions or the use of race in college admissions. But this group, Students for Fair Admissions, doesn't that sound grand? Students for Fair Admission. That's the name of the group that's been trying to tear down affirmative action and has been successful so far in a lot of areas. They are now telling the Supreme Court, y'all gonna go after West Point. You are going to include West Point. We are suing you to make you do it. You are going to stop West Point from using race in its admissions policies. You're gonna stop. And so here we are. The one thing that the military has been able to say is, look here, all y'all foolishness when it comes to national security and keeping this country safe, we depend on just as many black and brown people being in the military as we do white folks. There has to be pathways for these people to be treated fairly. And people bring their bias, implicit or explicit, with them into these arenas. So we have to ensure, because you know what can happen? Black and brown people can walk away from y'all and say, y'all handle it. Y'all handle it. We ain't gotta enlist. Y'all handle it. And you can make us come, but I'm gonna be Ali and go to jail. Y'all handle it. They understand I can't have this, and we know it's racial division in the military. Don't get me wrong, I'm not being naive. But we can't have the appearance of messing with these people. And these people got to come fight on behalf of this country. Because ain't nobody messing with white soldiers. Nobody's discriminated against white soldiers. Nobody's kept them from promotions, out of opportunities, assignments. Nobody's looked at white soldiers and said, are you intelligent enough to fly a plane? There are no white Tuskegee airmen. There's a reason for that. Because wasn't nobody questioning whether or not a white boy could fly a plane. Black people had to prove that they could. So now West Point is going to have to answer to this suit. And that's what we're gonna hear the real deal about what folks in the military are thinking, and that's, in charge of our national security when it comes to issues of race. But when we thinking about all the stuff we could talk about and Ray saying about, you can't talk to Jeanette Herrera, one of the sisters that calls in. I mean, that I talk to on the show frequently. The sister who was over the King Fest, that's her program. She recently did something for Malcolm X. You can't talk to this sister and the word reparations not come up. Like, she will run you out of a building.
I'm talking about Sunday dinner. I'm talking about at the movies.
Reparations.
I'm talking about McDonald's.
We eating ice cream. Reparations is going to come up. Because there are people that understand that nothing of substance has ever been done by this country to acknowledge the horror of slavery. And the amount of money that was generated off the backs of Black people. The horrific conditions and circumstances in which people were forced to live. There's been no financial redress for that. But people done came up. You got banks that's uber stupid wealthy. Universities, some of the most prestigious in the country, connected to that. Institutions built off the backs of that. But nobody has said we was wrong for what we did. We need to make financial retribution to these people or their descendants in this case. So these few little programs that was intended to in some way acknowledge and take affirmative steps to correct, and not that you can really correct it, but you can acknowledge that a debt is owed. This is one way we're going to try to pay it back through educational opportunities, educational access. This is one way we're going to try to pay it back. Let me go to the phone line. Got a caller. We good? Or they go? Oh, they go. Okay. So keep posted. We're going to keep watching because this conversation is real. All right, y'all. I got to take a quick break. I'll be right back. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Yes, sir.
I ain't scared of you. I hit you with that bop gun. Funk it is.
You should always.
Wait a minute. With the pinky, did you just talk to me with your
You
pinky?
should always be scared. I want to be clear.
Wait a minute.
You
Wait a
should
minute.
always be scared.
If you're scared, go
Let
to
me-
church and
let
call
me-
the police.
Let me go to the phone line.
Did you point at me with your pinky?
We'll talk after the show.
All right, come on, Cletus.
Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, what's good, Michelle? It's good to hear your voice, Queen. I have a slash kind of comment rhetorical question. I don't know if you can answer this.
Let's
But you're talking about reparations.
Okay.
So in a capitalistic society, whenever somebody does wrong, they say we're going to apologize by giving you money.
Uh-huh.
If I hit you, insurance gives you money, you get a lawsuit. Somebody even hurts your family, you get what? A lawsuit from the police. So if America never gave us reparations and they've given every other marginalized group reparations, what are they telling us by not giving us these reparations that we're not listening to?
What did Polly Williams say?
Don't call in here using your PhD on me. Dr. Kwaku.
No, I'm honest. I really want to respect you from a political standpoint, but it's like this. Out of every group that's ever been marginalized, that's been put in a level of enslavement, those who have freed themselves have left. No people have ever stayed in the land of their captors like we have.
I mean, well, some others have, indigenous people, even though it was their land, they didn't.
But I was going to say, it's their land.
Right, it's their land. So, I mean, on principle, on GP, I'm not moving around. But, there have been folks that were in Japanese internment camps who ended up staying. I mean, there are examples of people that have stayed. But, and thank you for the call, bro, because I'm up against.
Real quick on that, though.
Who are you? Yeah, this game is just
Michelle, stop acting like Keith.
I'm just like, who are you? I said good morning. Go on, Professor. What you got?
Hey, Keith, be careful. She's pointing at with her pinky today.
Gotta go. You're gone.
One of the technical dodges that the U.S. government has been able to use when it comes to reparations has been. I was just watching a documentary called Yellowfaced. And it talks about basically Hollywood and how, yellow-faced, like you had Europeans who played Asians.
Right.
Because the Hays Code.
They played everybody.
Right. Warner Olin and Toller.
They played everybody.
They played black people too.
But here was the interesting thing about the Japanese, and they talked about the internment. They actually had land and property stolen.
They did. So did we.
So no, we were stolen property.
Yeah, but at some point
and
too,
remember
we
I
even
said
acquired property and it was taken.
But that's a different piece. Because when we talk about reparations, we're talking about enslavement. The dodge that the government has always used was, well, hey, we didn't take anything from you other than your freedom. So they've been using this technical dodge.
And your labor.
Oh, I got all that. But you know what I'm saying? So I think that whole technical piece is where they can kind of fall back. Now the Japanese, and then I didn't realize just how bad this was when they sent them to the internment camps. Literally, they would say, hey, look, your farms and your businesses will be here when you get back.
Right.
Wrong.
Right.
And then they said part of the internment probably had less to do with the threat that they were threats to national security more so than white farmers wanted their land.
Yeah, it was all nonsense. I mean, so to the point that the doctor raises, at the risk of sounding too simplistic, what are they trying to tell us? Other groups have received some form of redress, monetary redress for the things that have been done to them, with the exception of Black people. What are they trying to tell us? I would love to have some great giant, philosophical epiphany, like, oh my gosh, she's brilliant moment. I don't have it. What I do have is the general belief.
What was the last time you had that?
Oh, boo, this morning. This morning. You gonna get enough of coming from me. You gonna get enough. I said good morning just to came in here, want to put his little fake education on display, and then taking shots.
I didn't see any cloud
what
of
goes
glory.
around comes around. I'm gonna clown you in your own house because it's coming. But anyway, before I was so outrageously interrupted.
Inappropriate.
Thank you. For me, it becomes the same thing that's embedded in the Constitution,
Mhm.
that these are 3/5 of human beings, that these are not people that are to be valued. We don't have to view them in any way, shape, or form the way we deal with actual people, that you are a subset of the human population, not deserving or worthy of considerations when it comes to, we've caused you pain. How do we address it? I would love to say something more advanced, but that's where I fall.
But here, as you
You
say,
back?
yeah, that's me. But here's the other piece of it. You're still continuing doing what you did in enslavement and post-enslavement.
What they say, they just put a suit on Jim Crow.
Right,
But
can we do a succession of that?
So, I mean, yeah, Dr. Smith, quite cool, bruh. I would love to say something profound, but sometimes the simplest answers are the best.
Don't you want to go home?
To home? To where?
Home.
To where?
To
the motherland?
Yeah.
I mean, I could. I have to pick which country.
Because they created a mongrel race. She don't want to be with the giraffes and the
But I'm
elephants.
going to tell you.
She already showed that.
She want a country that has 88.
I need an elevator in this joint. I got to get out the way. Keith has come in and harassed me in my own house. I'm about to burn his down as soon as he go on the air. Keon Jackson Malone, in all your impetulance, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you this morning.
I don't know that impetulance.
You dropped the religion. I knew nothing about it. I heard that in the context. Keith would know. I'm going, Keith don't know. That's an Eastern religion. Keith don't know.
I'm just saying, Mr. I was watching a documentary for fun at
and this is why
7 in the morning.
I would suggest
gotta go.
Baby, yeah. You said your words, girl. Something real. Yeah. We're like soldiers in a revolution. Do not word, no solution. And then speaking words, something healing words, something feeling words. Baby, yeah. Say what you want, girl. You know that I need you.